Good morning, everyone. Today I'm gonna kind of try to see if I can put this to use on the excavator. This grapple, I feel like it's just too big and too heavy for this little mini skid steer, but I think if I'm able to maybe take this part here off, I can probably use it with the excavator. So today I'm gonna try to see if I can get in here and pick this up, take it to the garage, and see if we can get it hooked up to the excavator somehow. So let's see what happens. So I weighed it yesterday and it came in at 423 pounds, which is a lot more than I was told. I was told I think it was like 300 and something pounds. This thing is 423 pounds. So even though the excavator can definitely handle that kind of weight, and I could get an adapter that goes from the exchange mount to the universal mini Toro Dingo mount, I feel like a lot of this is just overkill, and if I take all this off, it would probably lower the weight quite a bit, and I wouldn't have to buy an expensive converter mount, which adds additional weight to what I've already got here. All right, let's go up some more. Almost there. Oh, it's turning around on me. About right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking pictures of these hoses. I might have to mark them, and then when I do that, I'm going to try to see if I can undo the hoses on this block. And then I'm probably going to have to set it down on the ground so I can undo this bolt so that I'll have room to slide this piece out and get those hoses out from over here. Might as well go ahead and remove the block while I'm here, because once those other hoses have been detached, there's really no need for the block to remain. So we'll do that now. So I'm just going to put these on here because I want to make sure that everything goes back exactly how it came off, with the numbers and letters according to the block. So that's A. That one's marked D. So I think I only got, and that's B. So this is the only one left that's not marked. Now that everything's labeled, I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe everything down and get ready to set it down on the ground so we can unbolt it. pull it without causing any problems. There you go. Hoses are out. Alright, it's about to hoist it up and see how much it weighs. Zeroed out. Chain is probably 20, I don't know, 5 pounds, but here we go. We're going up. 125. So we're at 130 pounds minus the chain, so it's about 125. So the mount for the mini skid weighs 120, well, about 125. So yeah, we're looking at about, this is going to be about 300 pounds. Because this is 125 and the whole thing combined was 423, so roughly around 300 pounds for all this will be attached to the excavator. So it looks like we've got us a mess here. Oil all over the floor. I ran out of absorbent, so I'm gonna have to go get some absorbent from Tractor Supply, along with what I need to bolt this into the excavator. So I'm gonna go ahead and start removing the bucket, and we'll see what we can do. So the bucket is 142 pounds. Now we know. Well, minus the chain, but basically, no, that is it. 142 pounds, just the bucket itself. So I'm gonna lift it now and see what it looks like. Now what I've done is I've pushed this up underneath it, so I'm hoping if I lower it a little bit, I can get it a little tighter in this notch right here. So this is it. This is what I think is pretty much almost the finished product. Of course, the right way to do it would be to actually get a Bobcat, a blank Bobcat connector or a base plate, just a blank one, and then weld on some ears right here, and then that way it would, with a big bolt, hook into the ear on the base plate. But I'd have to go to a welder and find somebody who can do it. So for now, I just want to do this and then get the hydraulics hooked up. All right, so it's time to put our hydraulic block on, which is this thing, the diverter block, I should call it. I think that's what you call it. So I got my hoses here. I got to put them back on. I got them labeled. They're still spewing stuff everywhere. All right, so I've got it bolted up here to this right here, and got it still chained up. So now at this point, I'm just gonna, I got my hoses put in, so now I'm just gonna turn my auxiliary diverters from the thumb to my auxiliary, and then that way I can test it. What I gotta do is go ahead and hook up my auxiliary wire from my diverter valve back to the cab. So I'm gonna start doing that now. I'm gonna just run it through the cab window here. Alright, so I'm just tie wrapping my wire back this direction, back towards the cab. So I got all this here connected now, just continuing on that way. So on the inside, I put my wire, spiraled it here, and I put my switch here on the floor, and actually it's pretty easy to push. You can hear the micro switch there, so I could just leave it just like that, and if I need it, I just press the switch real quick. Otherwise, I might get like a little switch just for that, like a pedal switch, but this here looks like it'll work. And I'm having to do a little bit of rewiring for the polarity, and then that way I can plug in this cigarette lighter and put it in the outlet here, and that will run my 12 volt switching valve up there. Yeah, that way it'll work. So I'm almost done. I'll go ahead and start it in a minute. All right, so here we go. Let's see what happens. All right, well, it's definitely working, but the only problem is this here needs to be where it can't move at all, because now the whole thing is just twisting with the chain. So that's the only problem, is the chain. Chain's letting it move. So that's going to be a problem. So I got to figure out how I'm going to stabilize it so the whole thing doesn't move. Oh well, I have to keep trying here and figure out what to do. All right, so I just got in my mount, my quick connect mount. So as soon as I get the little ears that will go here, I'm gonna find a welder and put the ears here, and then that should fit on that, and we will be good to go. So hopefully the ears come in a couple of days, and we'll take this to a welder, weld it up. So these are the mounts that will go on the bracket, and then I got to put the bolt through. Probably gonna need a bigger bolt, like I said, and then that's gonna be where the mounts will go, or the mount will go, and the grapple will hang like this. So now what I gotta do is just kind of widen these out, because this is having a hard time fitting in there. So 1 inch bolt, I think it's 1 inch or ½ inch, I can't remember. So just gonna round it off a little bit. Almost perfect. So see, like I say, when I put that bolt in there on this side, It'll go in like that, and I just need a longer bolt. Let's see if it'll. Yeah. So that's what I want it to do. I'm just gonna swing back and forth like that. So the other idea I'm thinking is maybe if I can drill some holes here, like a hole there and a hole on this side, get a 1-inch bolt and go all the way through this mount, and it'll swivel like that. Then I wouldn't have to worry about welding anything, because all I'm doing is drilling a hole here and a hole here, and then this just hangs like that, and then the other thing can swivel at the bottom. That way I don't have to worry about those I mean, it's not going to shear through this, and then this hole here is already being held on by that pin, so all that weight's going to basically sit there right on those pins. Because I think that might be the best way to do it. Alright, so I just got the mount back from the welder, and they drilled they cut a hole here with a plasma cutter, and they put this on. They welded my brackets on. They did a good job. I think they did a good job. So you can see here they welded the bolt onto the bracket, welded the bracket onto the connector, and so now this here is like that. So now we can go ahead and put all this onto the excavator and see what it looks like. Now I've got to get this to come down to here so I can use this bolt to go in there, and I got to do it from inside the cab of the excavator without seeing what I'm doing. So might take a little bit of time to do that. Now I can put the shield back on the front. So I've got everything bolted in. I've got my hoses routing up around to my shift block, and then from there it goes up into the attachment mount point for the hydraulics. This is swapped over so that it's not controlling the thumb, it's controlling my hydraulics. So that's what it looks like, all the way down to the bottom. And like I say, this right here is the shift block, so the wire is right here. I can just plug that in real quick. Oh, I tie wrapped it, so I might not have enough length, so I may have to pull it back a little bit to reach from up there. So I might have to get the ladder out, pull more of it down, but other than that, it should be ready to go. So here it is, the mount, and it's heavy in the front. Yeah, it's heavy. Let me put my front down here. Very heavy. Let me come out a little bit. Spins very fast. I gotta slow it down. Okay, it's just a matter of how much I put my finger on the trigger here. The trigger is right here. Alright, so this is it. I'm not sure if it's, well, I mean, being that it's heavy like this, the main thing is to remember, I guess, that I can't have it really far out without my blade down, because the back end is trying to pop up on the excavator a little bit. It feels like it. It feels real light in the back, so I have to make sure my blade is down. But yeah, this is it. This is what it looks like. So now all I gotta do is go over there and see if we can pick some stuff up and move some stuff around, because I just want to kind of see what it's capable of doing. So that's why I left a lot of this stuff here, because I can do a lot of testing out here with the stump grinder and with all this stuff. So we'll see what it looks like. All right, I'm gonna go a little slow here, because I mean, I'm a little nervous with all this weight hanging out like this, but I'm gonna try to keep it in front of me as much as possible and just see what it does. Alright, so the first problem is, looks like my diverter valve broke off the side of the mount there. It's just sitting there, and it's leaking oil. I don't know where the leak is coming from. I think it's just not tight enough right there. Yeah, it's leaking, but it probably just needs to be tightened up. I don't see anything broken, so that's good. But that bolt is sheared right out. That bolt sheared right out. So my guess is that if it broke off, so I gotta figure out a better way to mount that block. And no wonder that was tightened up like that. It just fell off. Probably when I tilt it up like that, the back just popped it off. But I don't see where it did any damage to the hoses. And still here. And it looks like this here is still in pretty good shape. And the mount didn't bend at all up in here. So I think the mount's good. It's just I gotta figure out how to mount that piece back, the diverter valves. Oh well. Alright, so that's basically it for now. I was able to get it to where it works. I just have to figure out a way to mount that control box. And then I got the foot switch. I could put the foot switch in, but really so far just the button alone works down there, and the button right there works really well. So I don't know, I might not even bother, but yeah, it works. So until next time, that's it.